After backpacking for a year around Australia and a little bit through Asia, I have become extremely picky and opinionated about certain travel products that I travel and pack things with. So I really wanted to make a video because I personally spent a lot of time looking up review videos and comparison videos of different types of travel products, like from toiletry bags to luggage to tote bags and backpacks. And I feel like a lot of times if you're looking up travel products, people are talking about, if you're going on a week-long vacation or a weekend trip, but it's very specific to need a travel product to pack with and also live out of when you are backpacking, and you need basically everything that you live with. I've spent so much time in and out of airports and have found that the function of products are really important to me. And also when I go to stay in like a hostel or an Airbnb and I'm going to use a share bathroom, how important it is to then have products that hold all my stuff that I'm not rearranging every 2 seconds. I need these products to be holding a lot of stuff and function well. I'm gonna go through different categories and the products that I found that really work for that certain type of lifestyle that I'm living, and hopefully can help you if you're in the same situation. And I also have found that I like to invest more money in certain things but not money in others, depending on what it is. So I'm going to talk through the price points of them, why I chose them, why they work, and hopefully this will help you because I definitely needed this. The first thing I'm going to talk about is toiletry bags. This has been my battle of life my entire time I was traveling. And when I got back and I was like, okay, now I know the function I need for a toiletry bag and a cosmetic bag, because I will show you what I was traveling with and why it was so difficult. Okay, when I left for Australia the first time, I had bought this cosmetic bag from Calpak. And I thought it made a lot of sense for the function. It held everything that I needed. So it was like shower products, face products, hairstyling products, medication, like all those little things that you need to fit in a toiletry and cosmetic bag, all my makeup. And I'll show you what, like, people love these types of bags. Also, I accidentally ordered a really big one, so maybe if it was smaller, it would make sense. But this is essentially a mini suitcase because when I put it in my tote bag, it quite literally takes up the entire bag. So I'm like, what is the point? Because I could just basically carry this around. It wasn't making a lot of sense. Also, because of the shape and style of it, and it's hard, you can't, like, you can't move it around with other stuff. And I was like, okay, I need to like split these things up. I ended up just shipping this home from Australia because I ended up hating it so much. I think these make sense for when you're living out of them, but honestly I just ended up hating this type of product. I was like, I feel like I need sort of like a meshier product that can be squished when I'm packing a bunch of stuff together. So the other things that I was traveling with as far as toiletry bags was these like leftover bags that I had. So just like random, like this is a Clinique bag that I probably stole from my mom when I was like in high school. This I actually love, but it's a Bath and Body Works men's toiletry bag, like $20. I bought this in college, and I actually love having a bag like this that's squishy and big on the inside, because it kind of is one of those things where you can just throw random stuff in it. So if you actually are doing a weekend trip and you're like, oh, I just need like a hairbrush, my meds, just throw it all into one thing, I think it's great to have this, and I feel like I can't let this go. So I would recommend having one of these, but this also doesn't work for, I can fit a bunch of stuff in here, but I've done that where I'm like, all right, let me put my makeup in here, my hair stuff, and then I'm like scrounging around, and it's just really frustrating to find stuff. So that leads me to trying to find a bag where I've seen these where they sort of open up and you can hang them. So if you're in like a hostel or hotel, like everything you need is there. I tried that, and I found that I do need to split up my products a little bit. I needed to buy one toiletry bag and one cosmetic case because when I was traveling, I ended up just like throwing out most of my makeup, especially when I was traveling in humid places. I wasn't wearing any makeup, and that was fine for the time. But now that I've come back and I've looked at actually all my products that I have, for, you know, all my makeup products, I was like, all right, realistically, I need something that is going to function, have all my makeup, and be able to work for when I pull it out of my suitcase and I'm doing my makeup and I can find everything. So I found this bag on Amazon. So it zips open diagonal, and then when you open it, everything you need laid out, like it opens flat. So I put my makeup brushes in here, I put some of my face products here, and all the rest of my makeup in here, and I like all of the compartments in there, and it just makes a lot of sense for a makeup bag. So this was only, I think, $25 on Amazon, and I will link all these products. There's a lot of different types of these. I really like this one. Clearly I have a taste in brown toiletry bags. It's nice because I've tried to just like jam everything into a bag and I can't even like see it. So I think that this is absolutely perfect. It kind of has the same function as this, where it lays open and you can see everything, but it's not annoying as hell to pack into a bag because just put this right in there and it's nice. Then I was like, all right, I need some sort of meshy toiletry bag. So my sister had this Vera Bradley, I guess, toiletry bag cosmetic case. Again, you can find this on Amazon for $36, which is really nice. And I love this because it smushes down, so if you don't fill it up, it doesn't need to be bulky and like take up all this space. And then there's still different organizational compartments. So you open this top part and there's these two mesh compartments. Then you open up the main part and it opens, oh, there is a bigger size than this. I think this is the smaller size. I like it. Basically, it stretches out, so when you put products in it, it does expand, and because it's like a stretchy material, you can kind of adjust things to really fit in there. So if you're really packing up most of the space, which I know I do, because again, it's like everything that I need, from all of my shower products and soap and face wash and medication, everything that I live with, which is a lot. I think that this is the perfect solution. Traveling with these two makes the most sense, because if you need to like split them up half and half, you can. They serve their purpose, and I'll know where to find everything. Because that was my other problem, is I was like, I don't know what I put in what bag. I don't know where my hairbrush is. I don't know where my toothbrush is. And so I think it's nice to have bags that are big enough where you know where they are. Oh, and the other thing that I want to point out is, again, like, this is really nice because if you wanted to use it for makeup, you could use this like for makeup brushes, but then you can also put in like a razor, a toothbrush, different things like that. So it's just kind of nice. It has that function of organization. I have found that Vera Bradley has other products as well, and I'd be interested in those. I have found that a lot of people I know actually use Vera Bradley for travel products, which I never would have thought of. Okay. Next, I'm going to talk about the bag that I use under my seat at the airport. I was traveling with a backpack for backpacking, which is great. So I'm going to show you that first. As you can tell, this has been through it because I traveled with this for over a year, again, all my travels. And this is from Calpak. So I love Calpak. The only thing that I don't love is their suitcases, but everything else, the function makes so much sense. And I think that this backpack is amazing because it can fit so much. It is like the size of a carry-on suitcase. So I would actually have to put it above the bin. But again, because of the type of material, you don't actually need to fill it up all the way. I always use this laptop compartment. I use the front for books and journals, which is so nice because when you're in the airport and you want quick access to that stuff that you're using while waiting. And then when you open it up, so what's nice is it opens like, you can kind of open it up like a suitcase. Instead of just opening the top and trying to fish stuff out of there, when you're packing, you just open it up like this and can pack all of your clothes and everything, and it's honestly so nice. And I want to show you these compartments because this is great if you actually are doing like a weekend trip and you don't want to take all these cosmetic cases and everything. I just throw my products in this. You can throw socks and underwear in here. your main compartment, and then there is these side pockets where I'll put like medication or things that are maybe a little bit more valuable that I just want to make sure are secure in there. So there's a side pocket here and a side pocket here. And I never used this function, but you can turn it on its side and then put your suitcase handle through this, but I found it to be, when it's full, hard for me to do that, and that's a personal problem. The other thing about this bag, which I've never used, is it does turn into a duffel bag, but like personally, I would just rather carry it as a backpack. So I absolutely love that, especially if you are doing like camping trip, whatever, where you want to just hold a backpack. And when you are traveling around, like you would rather not be lugging something on your shoulder, or if you don't want to be carrying a suitcase, it's perfect because it fits so much stuff. The price of that is $175, and I definitely think that it is absolutely worth it. And I also think because of the material, like I personally don't get that worried about it like getting messed up. It also feels a bit weather resistant. I don't know if it's like marketed as that. But I wasn't worried, you know, like if it was raining, and I also think it's made of recycled materials, which is also great. This next time around, when I'm traveling now on a plane though, when I've gone through many airports and layovers, it can be a lot to be carrying all that weight on your shoulders. So I have found, I actually like to use a tote bag that I can put on a rolling bag, especially because I have found if I bring this backpack and a rolling bag, I have to put both of them up in the overhead bin, and that stresses me out to no end because I feel like I'm gonna get in trouble because you're not really supposed to do that, and I also don't want to be that person. But I have tried to fit that backpack underneath, and it just a lot of times doesn't work. When it really is like, all right, I'm going to an airport, I'm getting in a car, and I'm going to my destination. This is the Calpak tote bag. So this is $115. Again, I definitely think that it's worth the money, and look, I'm not someone who likes to spend money on things. Like, if something's over $100, I think it's annoying. But when I decided to invest in these products, I was like, this is worth it. So again, the thing about Calpak is I like that all of their products seem to be like, you can compress them down. Like, they're not hard products where they don't change shape. So it can be a little bit annoying for function, but as far as using space to the max, it is really nice. And also it's really light. So let's say this was like a leather bag, it would be really heavy. This is such a light bag. And also the compartments in these bags make so much sense for travel. One of the features on this, which I have used before, is the bottom unzips to expand the size of the tote bag. So I had done a trip where I only traveled with this, and it worked because it expanded. So I will show you. You unzip the bottom here, and it grows a few inches. So yeah, it's kind of awkward to like carry something like that, but it's very nice if you need the extra space, and also that you have the option. So it's like having two different sized bags. And I have found, like, when I'm traveling, sometimes you have to just deal with having bulky stuff and being uncomfortable, but sometimes I really am like, I want the easiness of not carrying that much, getting on a plane and not stressing about like all the stuff that I'm carrying on. So I think personally it's great to have those options. I forgot this was even here. It has this side pocket, so I think this is good for like passport, phone. All the Calpak products have compartments like this. There's also, which, oh my gosh, I love this so much, there's a zipper right here. So when I put this bag on my suitcase and I need to quickly access like my ID, my phone when I'm in the airport, it's easy to just grab that. Then there is a compartment for your laptop and electronics, and it's big enough where you can fit more than a laptop. And then there is, you probably can't see, but there's a few pockets on the inside. I would say the only downfall of this bag is because it is like meshy, the pockets can kind of droop down, and so they're not that structured on the inside. But overall, I think it's still a great bag. And again, I'm not worried about taking this when it's raining or to the beach or whatever because of the material. I did not care about luggage. I didn't travel enough to have an opinion about it or the function of it. Sorry, I'm saying function so many times in this video. I started with an extra large suitcase on my first working holiday in Australia. I downsized that. I went to the Big W in Australia and I bought cheap luggage. So also the Kmart, you know, I got a checked bag, 100 AUD. The carry-on that I ended up getting from Big W was like 60 AUD, so I will show you that. As you can see, this has been beat up, which is fine because it was like $45 US dollars. This served its purpose, honestly. So again, it's really lightweight, which is nice because when you travel in Australia, they do have a limit. It's 7 kilograms on carry-on weight, and so you don't want that bag itself to add on weight. But the problem for me with light bags is when you're actually rolling them, especially cheap bags, you know, they're not that easy to roll, and then if I put a bag on top of it, the added weight on the top, it's not an easy experience, and I feel myself like dragging these bags. Now, taking this on road trips around Australia and also through Asia and not caring about it and banging it up and whatever, it served its purpose. So I think it's always great to like have those options. All bags now seem to have the TSA locks. That just seems to be like a given. But the last time I did fly with this, when I ended up checking it and getting it, it had busted open, like the zipper busted open. But whatever. So I didn't have like an emotional attachment to luggage. But I have found it gave me problems, like I said. So I decided to invest in nicer luggage this time around going back to Australia, only because I'm actually getting a home this time where I know that I'm going to be able to keep the luggage in a place in a home if I'm not using it. A lot of my luggage that I brought with me and bought in Australia, I just ended up giving to someone because I didn't need it anymore. So if I were you and I were going on like a first backpacking trip, I wouldn't worry about suitcases that much. But if you know you are going to hang on to your luggage, I will tell you the best luggage that I have found personally that I think work. If you don't want to spend like too much money and you're based in the US or somewhere where there's something like a TJ Maxx or a Nordstrom Rack or one of those discount outlets to find luggage, you can find some good stuff. My mom is the queen of finding discount luggage that is really good. So this is a Delsey Paris suitcase. I personally think this is the best brand of suitcase to buy when you're buying from these like discount outlets. This was on sale for $80, which is a really good price for a good suitcase. This is a pretty large suitcase. I will definitely need this for the bulk of my clothes. So if you are doing something where you're moving somewhere for a year and you need to bring all these clothes, something like this is really good. I don't regret bringing a bag that big. I think the quality of it is really good. I think that it wheels really nice, and then I'll show you the inside. So this is the inside of the bag. It has these compartments on this zip cover here, and it's pretty standard on the inside besides that. I personally am excited to use this. Am I obsessed with the look of it? No, but when you are buying something for function and price, you gotta just give that up. But I also needed another suitcase and a carry-on, so I decided to finally invest in nice luggage that I like to look at, that works really well, and fits the things that I need. I really wanted something that looked nice because I feel better when I'm traveling when it looks nice. Something that was a mid-price range, so I didn't want something that was too cheap that was gonna break, but I didn't want to buy a suitcase that was like $500 because it is a suitcase. Also, something that is easy to roll and lug around the airport, because I am just getting to the point where I want to make bringing my luggage around as easy as possible for me. I researched all the mid-price luggage. So Traveler Pro, I'm sorry if I'm saying, I think it's Travelers Pro. I got a lot of recommendations to use this. I'm going to show here the options that were suggested to me. Honestly, if I wasn't being so picky about the look of the luggage, I would have gone with this because it is lightweight, which is good again for when you need to pack a lot of stuff and there's a limit on weight on carry-ons. You can get it for a really good price, and honestly, I'm probably stupid for not going with that. And like, if you really don't care about the look of it, or if it is something where you're going your first year of backpacking and you know you're gonna get it super beat up or leave it behind or not really care about it, you don't want to spend too much money. Then I looked into the Manos brand. I think this one is called Level 8, Quince, Antler. I was getting all these ads for luggage, and also Samsonite, which honestly the Samsonite luggage that I wanted was more expensive than these other brands. Of course, I know people always use Beis as well. I wasn't sure if it was like overhyped because I had seen the Weekender bag and I just felt like it was like really heavy and bulky, and I didn't actually like it when I saw it in person, and so I was like, is the luggage like that too? I also looked into Calpak, but I found that the quality of the Calpak luggage for its price wasn't as good as these other brands. So again, I think like Travelers Pro and Samsonite is a really good option, but again, I'm so sorry. I was looking for something aesthetically pleasing because if I was going to spend hundreds of dollars on luggage, I wanted it to be cute. So I ended up going with Beis because when I watch videos comparing the organization and comfortability of using it, I felt like Beis outweighed everything else. Manos is supposed to be more expensive than Beis, but there was a deal where it would have actually been cheaper. But again, there were just things that I didn't like as much when I was comparing. So I'm going to show you why I do like Beis. Oh, I forgot I packed stuff in here, so it's heavy. Oh my gosh. One sec. This seems silly, but the biggest seller for this for me was the handle because of the ergonomic, is that how you say it? Handle. And I was like, yeah, I want it to be comfortable when I'm wheeling it around, right? And then also this bag hook. And I'm like, that it's like these little things that when you are traveling around an airport, if you buy something, or what I do is I carry a third purse that I end up putting inside of my tote bag or whatever. So when I actually have that out at the airport with my money and everything, that could be nice to have it on here. Then I'll show you the inside, especially because I already packed it. With luggage, I always want an expander because I know myself and I know that I want the option to have more products in there than I probably should. This is the inside of the bag. There's these two pockets here, and then I liked having a bag where the compression function of it was this like flat, I don't know what you would call this. This flat thing that really presses down on the clothes. So this side of the suitcase is filled with clothes, and I really feel like you can fit a lot in here. So the ups and downs of luggage like this is the weight, because like I said, you don't want your bag to add a ton of weight if you're flying on Australian Airlines, but Australia is not the only place I'm ever going to be traveling. So I can always stop at Big W again and buy a carry-on if I like really need. And so I wanted to invest in something that had sturdiness to it so that when I am wheeling it, which I found that when I wheel it like across carpet, it wheels well, and I think that that's really nice. I want it to be sturdy, so because it's heavy, like it's not gonna topple over, especially when I put a tote bag on top of it. So I think that I'm going to deal with the consequences of that later on, and I would rather have something that's just easier to travel with and deal with that. Maybe just like check the bag if it's too heavy, because I want an easy experience. I want something that is organized, that I feel like I can fit everything in, and so I'm really happy with this purchase. And I ended up getting the medium bag that was matching to it. I have never had matching luggage before. Like I said, I've never invested in luggage like this before, so I'm really excited to have something matching. The inside is exactly the same. This is exactly the same. I do know people personally who have used Beis who really like it, so I'm hoping it's not just like overhyped. But this was a mid-range price point, so they do a little bit of a discount when you buy 2 bags at once to make a set with the tax. Sorry, I'm a little sick. With the tax, these two together ended up being $500. I, again, didn't want to spend that, but I was getting to a point where I was spending between like $3.50 and $4 anyway, and so I was like, why would I spend that much money on something that I don't really feel like I love? Because I found that when I'm traveling with things that I really, really like. I just kind of like feel better, more put together, more organized, like I'm having it just like elevates your whole experience. So I felt like that was reasonable because, like I said, when I was looking at like the brand July or even some Samsonite luggage, it was up like $600. So I was like, okay, this seems like a fair price for the function and organization of it. And like I said, function and organization is so important when you are living out of a freaking suitcase. Like, this is your things home. So yes, it's gonna get beat up, but that's why I care so much about how it rolls and what is on the inside of it. And okay, this is the other thing. I know everyone says, why would you spend so much money on a suitcase? It's gonna get beat up. I decided to try the suitcase cover that I will put on this when I check the bag. Now, this is one of those products where I don't feel like I need to spend a lot of money. So Beis has the suitcase covers for like $45, and it's like, that's the outside part that's supposed to get messed up. Why would you spend a lot of money on that? I ended up getting this for $12 on Amazon. This is actually my first time opening it. Honestly, this seems like pretty good quality. It's actually thicker than I thought it would be. This is the bottom part. So when you put it over your suitcase, this goes underneath and you zip it up. It's like a little bodysuit for it. Obviously, the only downfall is the Beis one like has holes in the part where you need it. But like if I'm checking the bag, I don't really think it matters, honestly. When I pick it up from checking it, I can still have this function to attach it to another suitcase because I'm going to be traveling with 3 suitcases. And again, that's another reason why I wanted Beis. It's like those little things where if that can make it easier traveling, that's great. The last thing is packing cubes. Again, I don't think you need to spend that much money on packing cubes. I really wanted packing cubes that were compressive because that's just like a nice feature, again, as well, to make more space in your suitcase, which you really need. I think if you are backpacking just to stay organized and also fit more things, you definitely need packing cubes. But brands like Beis, theirs seemed, again, like more structured to where you don't really have as much leeway as far as what you can fit because it kind of takes up that space for you. So I have bought just like these mesh packing cubes on Amazon. The function was great. I liked them. Some of them did rip. It wasn't like the best quality. So I wanted to get something a little bit nicer but not crazy. So I already opened this. I got the Aero Trunk packing cubes, which were $55 for 6 pieces. And that was the other thing. I found that I need a lot of pieces for my wardrobe because, like I said, I'm packing my entire life into this. So this isn't like, oh, you need 1 packing cube for like your gym wear for the week or 1 packing cube for your going out outfits. Like this is, I need a packing cube for all of my jeans that I own. I need a packing cube for all of my hoodies that I own. So I'm starting with 6. I might need more, but I'm not sure. And I think having big ones is, again, really good because you can kind of, like I had fit, I'll show you actually. I think the quality is really nice. I think that compared to the other ones that I got, spending a little bit more money was better because this is thick enough where I think it won't rip. The zippers seem fairly sturdy and you can still see what's inside of them, which you definitely need. Again, if you're carrying everything with you, it's like, oh my god, what's in this one? What's in this one? Like, this is good to be able to see into it. This one, I was able to fit all of my hoodies in sweatpants that I will be carrying with me to Australia this time. So I think that was like 5 hoodies and 3 pairs of sweatpants. That is what I'm limiting myself this time. They keep getting smaller and smaller, so I am going to do another video coming up in the next couple weeks when I actually pack all of my stuff so that you can see what really fits in all of these things and the function of them more specifically. But I just wanted to like get these products out there and link them just to give you an idea of what I find works. As you can see, this is the compressing part, so there's this extra zipper just like on a suitcase. Alright, clearly it's snagging a little bit. Okay, well, as you can see, this is not perfect. There we go. And so it would flatten it. Now, I might be packing so many things into these, I might not be able to compress it. Again, I will see and I will record that. I don't think packing cubes are something you need to spend like so much money on because it's just a packing cube. Like, I think you can get something that works well that is not so expensive for that specifically. That is all the products that I wanted to go over. Those are all the products that make my life so much easier, again, when you are traveling in that certain way. So I hope that this helped, and yes, I'm going to link everything below so that if you're interested, you can purchase them as well.